right, continuing your test review, multiplying and dividing. This is where we have our factor, restrict, cancel, our little three-step process. With multiplication, that's essentially one big fraction where I basically just multiply with numerator to numerator and denominator to denominator. So I'm going to factor first. The top left there, this is just straightforward factoring, so I'm going to go through this pretty quick. Top right's already factored. Okay. So that's step one, factor. Step two, restrict. My restrictions, looking at the denominator, look at the opposite sign of all my factors. I've got positive 4, positive 2, positive 7, and negative 5. So x cannot be equal to 2, 4, 7, or negative 5. Now I can, step 3, cancel. So step 3 is my canceling. I'm going to do that in green here. So cancel out common factors. So x minus 7 is gone. X minus 4 is gone. That's it. So what's left is x plus 3 over x minus 2 times x plus 5 with my restrictions added on. And that's your process for multiply, and then it's pretty much the same for divide as well. So over here, number 6, it's division, but division, when I divide by a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to change, I'm going to flip the second fraction and go right back into factoring. So the top left, 4x is already factored. Now, x squared plus 3x minus 18 is now on top. So that's going to be x plus 6, x minus 3. So notice that was on the bottom, now it's on the top. Because when you divide, you flip the second fraction. X plus 6 is already factored on the bottom left. Now x squared minus 3x will turn into x minus 3. X squared minus 3x turns into x minus 3 because we take out an x. And that's the GCF there. Now I put it on the end, you could put it in the middle. It's okay, it's all multiplied. So I've factored. Now restrict. So number 2, x cannot equal negative 6, 3, or 0. Ran out of space over there. So x can't equal negative 6, positive 3, or 0. Now I can cancel, which the nice thing is in number 3 in this step here, x plus 6's are gone, x minus 3's are gone, and the x cancels. So my final answer is just 4 with my restrictions. So 4, and then x can't equal negative 6, 0, and 3. All right. So again, big first step with division, make sure we flip the second fraction before we go through and factor and cancel. Whoop. Number 7. Give myself a little room. All right, number 7, we're back to multiplication again. So we have one big fraction essentially, which is nice. Keeps us going nice and easy in terms of the factoring. Go straight into it. So top left, take out a 4, and I'm going to have 2x minus 5. On the top right, x squared minus 7x plus 10. That turns into x minus 5 and x minus 2. Bottom left, x plus 7, x minus 5. Bottom right is perfect squares, and take out a GCF. So I'm going to take out a 4 before I do the perfect squares. When you do that, that turns into x squared minus 4, which is x plus 2, x minus 2. A little easier there once you factor out a GCF. All right, step 2, my restrictions. So x cannot equal negative 7, 5, or plus or minus 2. Now the 4 here, 4 does not have an x. Since 4 does not have an x, we don't set it equal to 0. It's not a factor in terms of my restrictions. All right, so now we move to step 3, cancel out what we can. Looks like x minus 5, x minus 2, and even the 4. So what's left is 2x minus 5 over x plus 7 times x plus 2. And then my restrictions from above, x cannot equal negative 7, 5, or plus or minus 2. All right. Again, make sure, guys, if you need to rewind, pause, make sure you do so. Go back through, make sure we're clear on every step. All right, number 8. Again, division. Got to flip the second fraction. Then factor, restrict, cancel. So back to the same process. So x minus 5, x minus 4 on the top left. On the top right will actually be the 6x plus 42. So if I take out a 6, I'm left with x plus 7. On the bottom left, x plus 7, x plus 3. And then now x squared minus x minus 12 is on the bottom right. That's going to turn into x minus 4, x plus 3. Step 2, restrict. X cannot equal negative 7, negative 3, and 4. We don't list the negative 3 a second time. Yes, negative 3 is a restriction twice. It's okay, just happened to be that way. All right, step 3, cancel. Looks like my x minus 4s are gone and my x plus 7s are gone. So I have 6 times x minus 5 over x plus 3, or x plus 3 squared. Either way is fine. Where x cannot be negative 7, negative 3, or 4. All right. Moving on to add, subtract. Well, there's a simplify in between first. So number 9, a little simplify. That's a quick one. Factor, restrict, cancel. Same process. We don't have to worry about multiple fractions, though, to combine. So this is pretty straightforward. Got a difference of 2 squares in the denominator. Nice and easy factor in the numerator. Before I cancel, make sure I list x cannot equal plus or minus 8. So then go down to number 3. Final answer. Make this a little bit cleaner, I'm sorry. Over x plus 8. Yep. Okay. 10 and 11, now we're changing gears a little bit. 10 and 11, we're moving into add, subtract. No solving, but adding and subtracting. So now we're changing it up just a little bit towards common denominators. So we need to make sure we factor. So for number 10 here, if I factor out that denominator, factors of 8 are 4 and 2. 4 times 3 would be 12. So that works. So I'm going to put 4 and 2 as such. Now I want a negative 10, so 4 needs to be negative and 2 needs to be positive to make this work. You can multiply that out and check. You can also do your x method or your 3 times 8 bottoms up method. So we have our factoring methods. The bottom right turns into x minus 4, x minus 2. So our common denominator is going to be 3x plus 2, x minus 4, and x minus 2 all multiplied together. That's my common denominator. So if that's my common denominator, I'm going to multiply by my common denominator, or my missing piece. So the top left, or the left side there, is missing x minus 2. So 12 is going to get multiplied by x minus 2. 3 is missing the 3x plus 2. That fraction is missing that piece in order to get my common denominator. Once I do that, I multiply by what I'm missing. Now I have a common denominator. I can distribute and combine like terms and then make sure I list my restrictions. Maybe something will cancel out, maybe not. So I have 12x minus 24 minus 9x minus 6, which simplifies to 3x minus 30 over 3x plus 2, running out of space, sorry, x minus 4, x minus 2, where none of these will cancel. So even if I took out a 3 at this point from the numerator, I'd have x minus 10, but that doesn't cancel with anything in the denominator, so we're going to leave it alone. In the bottom, though, we can list our restrictions, which is negative 2/3, positive 4, and positive 2. So my final answer is my restrictions plus my fraction. So that's number 10. Space-wise for 11, here we go. So for 11, my denominator, let's see, we've got 3x, 9, 10, and 10x squared. So x squared is my largest x. So that's going to be my common x. In terms of 9, 10, 3, those are all, if we multiply that, I think 90 is going to be the smallest we can do where it's common, the smallest number. The least common multiple between 3, 9, and 10 will be 90. So, if 90 is my number, is my common number, 90x squared together is my common denominator. So how do I get from 3x to 90x squared? That'll be a multiply by 30x. So this first one here, 8 over 3x, is going to get multiplied by 30x to get to our common denominator. The second one, 9 is going to get multiplied. I'm missing a 10x squared. So I'm going to multiply by 10x squared on top and bottom. And then the last one is missing a 9. So I'm going to multiply 3 by 9. To make sure I get to the 90x squared across the board there. All right. Combining like terms, distributing, 8 times 30 is 240, and that's x, plus 20x squared, minus 27, all over 90x squared. If you want to make it nice and pretty and reorder it, that's fine. In terms of the top, but don't worry about trying to factor that. In terms of our restrictions, the denominator equal to 0 is just going to give me 0. So my answer here, if you want to put it in standard form with the highest power in front, that works. So if you want to reorder it, 20x squared plus 240x minus 27 is what I'm saying there. But that's fine. All right. So that's up to the adding and subtracting. I'm going to have one more. I'll make one more for our challenge question number 12, along with my the 2 multiple choice.